So what's the best dialer to use for cold calling? Now you guys know my main form of marketing is cold calling. So I've tried out a couple different dialers in order to figure out which one best works for me and my business and which one is obviously the most efficient. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 dialers that I've used, the pros and cons of each, and which one I think is the best moving forward, so you guys can have a better idea of which dialer you may want to use in your business. So in this video, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of each dialer that I've used, which is Mojo Dialer, CallTools, and Batch Dialer. I'm going to break down which one I think is the best dialer, and hopefully this video will give you a little bit more insight on which dialer you feel as though that you can use in your business. But before I get to that, as usual, what's up guys? My name is Lillian Chukwueze. If you're new to my channel, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you get alerted when I drop the next video. I talk all about real estate, entrepreneurship, and investing. So if any of those topics interest you, definitely hit the bell button so you'll know when I drop the next video. Now let's get into it. So let's start out with Mojo Dialer. Now, Mojo was actually the first dialer that I used getting started about 2 years ago. It was very simple. It's very easy and simple to basically plug in and start using right away. It has a lot of good functionality and a lot of good integrations, meaning that it can integrate with a lot of other softwares, especially Zapier. I know that's one that a lot of people use just to make it easier to basically, transfer your leads directly to your CRM. Mine being Podio, so it directly integrates with that, which is really, really simple. Another good thing about Mojo is that it has a 3-line dialer, so it allows you to call up to 3 lines at once, which is really helpful in order for you to bang out more calls and just bang out more volume overall. Another good thing about Mojo is that it has a mobile app. So basically it's really helpful because whenever you're out or on the go, if somebody calls you and you don't know exactly who you're talking to, you can basically pull up the app and search the number once you're talking to them and be able to figure out who you're talking to. The thing about that is that it doesn't automatically show who you are talking to, so you kind of have to stall while you're on the phone. But you do have the ability to pull it up on the app, at least their record, to see the number of who you're talking to and figure out the name and everything like that. So those are the pros of Mojo Dialer. Beyond the app, it has good customer support and really good training. So anytime I had any issue with anything, I was able to pretty much contact somebody and they got back to me fairly quickly, or there was a lot of training videos that I can pretty much figure out the answer for. All right, so let's talk about some of the cons of Mojo Dialer. One is price. It's definitely the most expensive dialer that I've come across out there. And I believe their price is still at $149 a month. Correct me if I'm wrong. But last time I checked, it was about $150 a month to get started on this dialer. And then you obviously need to consider the numbers that you're gonna have to buy. So price is definitely a little bit more expensive than other dialers. Another con about Mojo is that it has bad data. I know that we tried using it for skip tracing and it was really, really bad. So I would not recommend Mojo for skip tracing. And another thing is that in my experience and some other people's experience, that it has bad connection overseas. So some people will outsource cold calling to like a VA who's in another country, and from my experience and some other people's experience, the connection can be lagging sometimes. Sometimes the person overseas is calling obviously in America, and the lag and the connection can just be a lot slower than expected. And another con is that it only has 3 lines to dial. Now, in the beginning, or a couple years ago, it was like a big thing, like to have more than 1 line, period. So 3 lines was really sufficient. But now, as I'm going to talk about in the other platforms, there are more companies coming out with dialers that can do more than 3 lines, all the way up to 12 lines. So we'll get into that. So the next dialer that I used was CallTools. Now, CallTools is crazy. A lot of pros with CallTools, but a lot of cons in my experience. Now, CallTools has a lot of different features, almost to the point where it's too many features. But let's just stick with the pros. It does have a lot of good features and a lot of different functionality and capabilities, but obviously you have to be able to learn how to use all those different things. So, I mean, that's something to consider. The pricing is really good when it comes to CallTools. Now, I know my pricing was specifically $99 a month because I had a coupon code from one of my mentors, but I think in general, it's around that same price of $99 a month. So CallTools is definitely on the cheaper end, which is great, especially for beginners. Another pro about CallTools is that you can actually send and receive text messages. Now, it's not like a power texter or anything like that, but like you can send individual messages to people And I think that's really helpful in order to, you know, include some type of different communication besides calling. The next good thing about CallTools is that they can pretty much train your team. Now they have a lot of people on the back end who are able and willing to train your team. But obviously you got to get to that point whether you even like CallTools enough to build out a whole team with their platform. But that option is available to you. And another pro about CallTools is that it has either up to 10 or 12 lines. I know it has at least 10, but I believe it can go up to about 12 lines. Now, I personally don't use that many lines to call myself. I use about 3 to 4. But it does have the option to call that many people at one time, which is kind of mind-blowing. Now let's get to the cons, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of CallTools. So this is probably a biased view, but I had a very extremely difficult time using CallTools because it's very complicated. I mean, honestly, I felt like I had to be a techie of some sort to really understand the system. I know previously that they had a thing where when you uploaded a list, you had to enter a certain code for, for your records. Now they've changed that, which is great, but honestly, the system is very complicated to use in my opinion, and there's so many things to learn about it. Like, I mean, honestly, I just was not a fan of CallTools. Every time I had an issue, I had to, contact support, and like that issue would take like 10 different steps in order to solve. I mean, there was one point where I just wanted to recycle a list, and it was like this huge thing where I had to like do 10 other things in order to just recycle this list, and it was just very, very confusing. So personally, I feel like there's just too many features to use in CallTools. I mean, most people can't use all of them because the main focus of an investor using this tool to dial is to simply dial, get some people on the phone, get some data, and be done with the software. But CallTools has so many different things that they incorporate. I mean, there was no way that I can personally figure out how to use every little thing. Maybe if I had somebody working it, maybe that'd be different because they could spend time to just specialize in learning CallTools, but I just did not have the time to do so. Now, another thing that really bothered me is the fact that I had to wait for their live training in order to begin using the software. It was really annoying because I wanted to hop in same day, start calling, but I had to wait for the next day in order to hop on one of their training webinars in order to figure out how to use the software, because I guess they haven't put up a training library for that. So that was kind of annoying. Another thing that really bothered me was the fact that it was really hard to export my data and move it to another platform. I mean, when I was getting ready to, stop using the platform, it was like I was on the phone for 2 hours with a rep to get my list exported because I simply wanted to export the people that I hadn't been able to reach already. I didn't want to export my list and call the same people again that I already talked to. So obviously I wanted to export my list and reach the people that I haven't been able to get in contact with. And I tell you guys, that process itself took like 2 hours, and it still wasn't even, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but whatever. So all in all, it was just too much for me. It was too many things going on. I spent way too much time trying to understand the system, and it was really frustrating because all I wanted to do was call. Unfortunately, there was no way I can, buy the software, get in there and start calling right away. I had to go through all this training. And on top of that, every time I tried to figure something out, it was like a 2-hour process talking with a rep. And I just wasn't a fan, honestly. So I had to shut that down after a couple weeks. And yeah, I just would not recommend CallTools. But that's a personal opinion and it's a biased opinion. So obviously everybody's experience is gonna be different. So the last and final dialer that I have used and I'm currently still using is Batch Dialer. Now, the pro about Batch is that it's extremely easy to use. I mean, it might even be easier than Mojo, to be honest. I would say the ease of use of the systems are very similar, but I really, really like Batch. I mean, the interface is very basic. Everything you need there is on one screen, alongside with some tabs, but it's very simple. I hopped in. It took me 10 minutes to get set up between, the dialer, getting my number, setting up my voicemails, everything like that. It was very, very simple. Creating campaigns was simple. Pulling reports was easy. I could easily track my data. I mean, all of those things were so simple. Another good thing is that it was easy to import and export my list very, very quickly. So that is a big thing for me because I need to be able to use these dialers very easily and very simple in order to just make these calls, get the data that I need to get and just get off the dialer. Another great thing about Batch is that they have super fast customer service. Anytime I contact one of the customer reps, they get back to me within about 5 to 10 minutes and it's great, so I really love that. So yeah, I mean, Batch is pretty much straight to the point when it comes to the functions. They don't have all this extra stuff that isn't really necessary that, investors probably aren't gonna use. And another great thing is that the pricing is pretty competitive. Now, it's not as cheap as CallTools, but it's not as expensive as Mojo Dialer. Right now, I'm on a $119 a month plan. which is pretty good. And then also they actually have other options where they have a 3-month plan that you could purchase at $297. So that basically is $99 a month. And then they have a 12-month plan that you can purchase all at once for about $1,000, and that roughly is around $89 a month. So pretty much you're able to save even more money if you join on one of the plans, either the 3-month or the 12-month plan. But I'm not a salesperson, so that's up to you guys. And obviously, similar to CallTools, it has 10 to 12 lines that you can dial up to. But again, I don't use that many. I don't think it's that necessary. I think it's a little bit of overkill if you're just one person calling that many lines. So some of the cons of batch. Maybe I haven't been using it long enough to know. I've been using it for about a month, but some of the cons are that the individual numbers that you buy from them are a little bit more expensive. They're $4 as opposed to $3, I believe, with CallTools, and I think with Mojo. So it's a little bit more expensive, but I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? And there have been a couple times where I had to basically refresh the system because it just randomly stopped dialing. And I had to just log out and just log back in, nothing too crazy. Another con is that it's really not a CRM. I mean, maybe I don't have enough experience using it, but the CRM functionality of it isn't that great. I wouldn't purchase $1 to use it as a CRM though. I mean, Podio is free, so just hop on there. But yeah, basically it's not a great CRM. But again, maybe I have to dive into it a little bit more. So those are all $3 that I have used, and I'm still currently using Batch. I think it's the best one when it comes to functionality, ease of use, you know, all the features and capabilities that it's able to do. And just being able to get in there, make calls, and do what you have to do on the dialer. I mean, it's really simple. You don't need to be too crazy and too extravagant with all these different features. You're literally making these calls to get some deals, guys. All right, guys, so I know it's a completely different day, but I actually forgot to mention that I can leave a link for the Batch dialer in the description down below. It's my affiliate link, so if you use it, it'll help me out, it'll help the channel out. But I definitely wanted to refer that to you guys so you have a direct link to be able to go on there and check everything out. It actually comes with a 7 free day trial, so if you like it for 7 days, you can continue, but if you don't, you can definitely just not use it anymore. But at least you get to try it out and see what it's like. So definitely check out the link down below in the description, and let me know how you guys like it. Leave a comment down below and let me know how you like it. So I hope this video helped you guys out. If it did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I talk all about real estate, entrepreneurship, and investing. And hit the notification bell so you know when I drop the next video. And leave a comment below if there's any dialer that you're currently using right now, or you're considering using any of the $3. Let me know your opinion on them. And until the next video, guys, stay safe, stay blessed. I will see you later.